Have you ever been pushed to change by the people who should love you most? This is the story of Lauren Brooks, a woman whose family tried to tear her down, only to be stunned by her incredible comeback. Stick around for a revenge tale so satisfying, it'll have you cheering. Smash that like button if you're ready for some justice, and let's get started. Lauren Brooks was always the heavier kid growing up. In kindergarten, while her classmates were still discovering what made them special, Lauren's size already set her apart. By high school, she was noticeably overweight. Her body was a constant reminder of how different she felt from her peers. College didn't bring much change. While others began finding themselves or exploring new identities, Lauren was stuck as the overweight girl. It wasn't easy being the bigger kid. She faced constant ridicule, mockery, and cruel comments from people who didn't care to understand her. Classmates bullied her relentlessly. Their insults cut deep, planting seeds of self-doubt that felt impossible to shake. They'd call her names, make fat jokes, and turn her into the punchline. Lauren was always left out of games, parties, and gatherings. It felt like she was forever on the outside, watching others navigate the normal highs and lows of childhood and adolescence from a distance she couldn't cross. Those years shaped how Lauren viewed herself and the world. Feeling like she didn't belong, she found comfort in books. She immersed herself in stories that let her escape her daily struggles. Books didn't judge or mock her. But they also gave her the nerd label, which she didn't exactly embrace. Build up. Lauren's younger sister, Megan Brooks, was her polar opposite. Just a year younger, Megan had a natural charisma that pulled people toward her. She shone in social settings, while Lauren was quiet and reserved. Megan had a captivating personality. She could enter a room and have everyone smiling, laughing, and drawn to her. Megan didn't just make friends, she had a gift for getting people to rally around her, like she was the center of gravity. Despite their differences, Lauren loved her deeply. She took her role as the older sister seriously, always ready to protect Megan when needed. When Megan started at the same high school, Lauren was thrilled at first. Being Megan's sister gave her a sense of purpose, like she had a unique role in her life. But as Megan found her place in high school and built her own identity, Lauren noticed a change. Megan began to see how differently they were treated. Lauren was the shy, bookish one, Megan was lively and popular, quickly joining the cool crowd. Lauren saw Megan start to view her quirks and insecurities as uncool. Megan began to pull away, ignoring Lauren at school. That hurt? It genuinely pained Lauren that her own sister saw her as lesser. Still, Lauren tried to respect Megan's choice and give her the space she seemed to need, even though it felt like losing both her sister and a friend. But Megan didn't just distance herself. She started joining others who treated Lauren like an outcast. Megan and her friends would take every chance to embarrass Lauren. In hallways or at lunch, they'd taunt her in front of others or try to trip her as she carried her lunch tray, just to get laughs. It felt like Lauren was losing Megan to the same cruel, bullying behavior she'd endured for years. She was constantly on edge, trying to avoid not just her peers' jabs but also the humiliation from her own sister. It hurt even more because it came from someone she'd always looked up to. When Megan invited her friends over, they'd gang up on Lauren at home. They'd burst into her room without knocking, laugh, and point at her body. They'd toss insults like geek and fatty like they were nothing. Lauren felt like an exhibit, their source of amusement in her own space. In her room, she felt small and alone, like a stranger in her own home. She tried telling her parents several times, hoping they'd see how tough Megan's behavior was to handle. But every time, they brushed off her concerns. They'd smile and defend Megan, saying it was just how siblings bond. They called it harmless, even telling Lauren to loosen up and stop taking the taunts so seriously. They said she was older and should be more patient and tough. So not only did Lauren endure years of bullying from peers and her sister, but her parents dismissed her feelings. It left her feeling isolated, like no one in her family understood her pain. Struggle. The only time Lauren felt truly seen by her parents was through her grades. Schoolwork came naturally to her, and she consistently earned high marks. It was the one area where she felt better than others, and it was the only way she could make her parents proud. They loved boasting about her academic success to friends and family, presenting her as the family scholar, as if her grades proved their parenting skills. But Megan resented the comparisons. She wasn't an academic star and didn't care to be. Her parents' constant praise of Lauren's grades made Megan bitter. They used Lauren's success as an example, implying Megan should follow suit. Lauren could always sense Megan's frustration and anger. That's likely why Megan did what she did. Sometimes, Megan would try to ruin Lauren's hard work to get even. She'd sneak into Lauren's room at night and take her homework, often right before a major assignment was due. Lauren would wake up the next morning to find her carefully completed work gone. Panic would set in, and she'd frantically search through her books, papers, and files, growing more anxious by the minute. And there was Megan, smirking from the doorway, relishing every moment of Lauren's distress. To Megan, it was a small victory, a way to bring Lauren down and remind her she wasn't untouchable. Megan knew how much Lauren's grades meant to her, how much of her self-worth was tied to them, and she enjoyed disrupting that part of her life. Lauren only learned years later that Megan was behind the missing assignments, when Megan confessed one night while drunk. Over time, Lauren and Megan's relationship softened, but they were never truly close. The deep bond that siblings often share never fully formed between them. After graduation, Lauren moved out and started a new life in a new city. She landed an exciting job and embraced new opportunities, which meant she didn't see her family as often. Their communication dwindled to occasional phone calls or texts. Turning point. Last year, when Lauren planned a summer visit home, she was genuinely excited to see everyone. It had been a while since they'd all been together, and she looked forward to catching up and reconnecting. But things didn't go as planned. The family lunch started well enough. Everyone seemed happy to see Lauren, and for a moment, it felt like old times. That changed when Megan suddenly announced her engagement. No one saw it coming, and at first, they thought she was joking. But it was clear she was serious. She proudly showed off a stunning ring, and Lauren couldn't help but compliment its beauty. She was genuinely happy for Megan, thrilled that her sister had found someone who loved her. But as soon as the congratulations died down, Megan turned to Lauren and asked about her recent life. Lauren shared details about her career, her new city, and how fulfilling her life was. Before she could finish, Megan cut her off. "I can't help but say this," Megan started, smirking, "but why are you still fat? If your life is so great, shouldn't you have lost weight by now?" Her words hit Lauren like a slap, reawakening old insecurities she thought she'd buried. The room fell silent, and Lauren felt everyone's eyes on her, waiting for her response. She tried to laugh it off awkwardly, but then her parents joined in, criticizing her. They started talking about how she was still overweight and unmarried, expressing worry that she'd never have kids. Lauren felt humiliated. Her achievements, the life she'd built, the job she loved, none of it seemed to matter. All they cared about was her weight and her single status. As her parents and Megan kept talking, their words cut deeper than Lauren expected. She'd spent years finding herself, gaining confidence and independence, but in that moment, she felt like the same insecure teenager, desperate for her family's approval. Her parents then praised Megan for getting engaged before her, saying how proud they were. To them, Lauren was the lesser child, successful, but not quite enough. What was supposed to be a joyful reunion turned into a painful reminder of old wounds. Megan didn't stop. She kept probing, asking, "So, when are you getting married? Do you even have a boyfriend?" She was clearly mocking Lauren in front of everyone, bringing up her romantic life. Her parents piled on, agreeing with Megan that it was high time Lauren found someone before it was too late. They pointed out how Megan, the younger sister, was settling down first, while Lauren, the older one, was wasting her life at work. Lauren tried to defend herself, saying she loved her life as it was, that her career was fulfilling and paid well. Why did she need a husband or kids to be happy? "I'm content just the way I am," she told them. But her words didn't sink in. Her mother gave her a sharp look and scoffed, "What's the point of all that money if you don't have anyone to come home to?" It was as if they couldn't imagine happiness outside of marriage or family. Lauren felt misunderstood, like her choices were dismissed. This was her family, the people who should know her best, but they were fixated on a version of happiness that wasn't hers. Megan smirked and added, "I expect you to at least have a +1 by the time my wedding rolls around." She laughed and continued, "I don't want people thinking my sister is some old, miserable woman all alone while I'm getting married." The comment stung. Lauren shook her head and promised to try. Then her parents spoke up again, matter-of-factly. "Megan's wedding is almost a year away. Even if you can't find a partner, you could at least try to lose weight and look more presentable for her wedding." They suggested that losing weight would make it easier to find a partner. Megan eagerly agreed, saying, "Yeah, I want you to lose a few pounds at least," as if it was a favor to her. Lauren sat there, stunned and humiliated, feeling a pain she hadn't felt in years. How could her family talk to her like this? Did she really deserve their cruel words just because she was overweight? Was she not supposed to have feelings because of her size? Lauren was a normal person, just like them. She worked, lived, and even dated men who liked her as she was. But her parents and Megan made it sound like her weight was stopping her from finding love, which wasn't true. She wanted to defend herself, to tell them how hurtful their words were, but she felt frozen, unable to find the right words. Their comments took her back to high school, to those painful moments when her weight made her a target. She hated how casually her family brought up her deepest insecurities without caring how it made her feel. So, she sat there, swallowing her pain, and let the conversation shift. Transformation. When Lauren returned home from that trip, she threw herself into losing weight with a passion she didn't know she had. It started as a way to prove something to her family, but it soon became personal. She joined a gym, followed a strict diet, and hired a personal trainer. Her trainer was a lifesaver. Having gone through her own transformation from overweight to healthy, she knew exactly how to guide Lauren. She created a plan tailored to Lauren's goals and supported her every step, reminding her to be kind to herself when she faltered. This time, everything clicked. Lauren started losing weight steadily. As the pounds came off, she felt lighter, not just physically, but mentally. For the first time, she began to feel and look different. Her confidence soared. She used to think losing weight wouldn't matter much, but it did. People treated her differently. Strangers were kinder, more attentive. Friends and colleagues looked at her with new respect. She couldn't deny it felt like validation she'd never had before. It was like she'd suddenly become visible. Her new body brought a new sense of style. She overhauled her wardrobe, filling it with clothes she'd only dreamed of wearing. She even went for a bold hair makeover, trying a trendy blonde style she'd never dared before. It might sound superficial, but she'd never felt so good. Looking in the mirror, she barely recognized herself. It was like meeting a version of herself she never knew existed. She was proud, not just of the weight loss, but of the confidence and self-assurance she'd gained. With Megan's wedding just 2 weeks away, her family invited Lauren to fly down for a lunch to finalize plans. But Lauren hesitated. She didn't want to face the ridicule again, especially now that she finally felt good about herself. She considered skipping the wedding altogether because of how Megan and her parents had treated her. But she knew if she didn't go, they'd be furious and lecture her about family duty. Encouraged by online advice, Lauren decided to attend the lunch and shock them. They hadn't seen her in a while, and since she wasn't on social media, they had no idea about her transformation. She was overwhelmed by the support she found online. Some suggestions were even funny, urging her to show up and steal the spotlight from Megan now that she'd lost so much weight. Growing up as the heavier kid had crushed her self-esteem. She'd struggled with self-doubt for years, always feeling like she wasn't good enough or didn't measure up. But the encouragement she found online was a game changer. It helped her see herself in a new light, and she started feeling more confident than ever. She was seriously considering showing up to the lunch and surprising them with her transformation. Climax. Lauren decided to fly down for the family lunch. She thought that since they'd pushed her to lose weight, they'd be proud of her transformation. Surely they'd be thrilled to see the positive changes and recognize her effort. When she walked into her parents' house, their jaws dropped. They stared, stunned, as if they couldn't believe it was her. After a moment, they stammered, asking if it was really her. Lauren gave them a big hug, thrilled by their reaction. They kept complimenting her, saying how beautiful she looked, how they couldn't believe it. But when Megan arrived, things shifted. She didn't notice Lauren at first, ignoring her like she always had. When Lauren stood to greet her, Megan did a double take, eyes wide with shock. She gave a forced laugh, then reached out and poked Lauren's stomach, as if checking if the weight loss was real. Her parents laughed, saying they couldn't believe it either. As they sat for lunch, the conversation turned to Lauren's transformation. Megan and her parents bombarded her with questions about how she did it, marveling at how different she looked. Their voices were full of surprise, like they never thought she could change. Megan, in particular, kept saying she never expected Lauren to look so different. Then she dropped a bombshell. "When I first asked you to lose weight, I never expected you to look this pretty. I didn't even know you had that jawline and those ankles under all that fat." Lauren paused, trying to stay calm, and smiled. "Megan, I've always been pretty. Losing weight just enhanced my features." But Megan insisted something else was different, then boldly asked, "Did you get surgery? There's no way you look this good on your own." Lauren's blood boiled. The nerve to think she needed surgery to look good after all her hard work. She looked Megan in the eyes and said, "Wow, Megan, it's amazing you think that little of me. No surgery, just hard work and self-love, something you might want to try." Megan's face shifted from shock to annoyance, but Lauren didn't care. It felt incredible to finally stand up for herself. Before Megan could respond, their parents jumped in, trying to smooth things over. "You shouldn't be offended," her mom said. "We've just never seen you like this. Honestly, you look even prettier than Megan, and she's the bride." Megan looked furious at that comment. Lauren ignored her and focused on her food, letting Megan stew. Then her mom added, "You know, maybe you should go back to your natural hair color. This blonde makes you stand out too much. You should go back to your old look." Megan and her dad quickly agreed. Her dad said, "Megan's always been the blonde daughter, and you were the brunette. It'd be better if you went back to your natural color. It'd make you look more like yourself." Lauren was stunned. She felt like they were ganging up on her, trying to dim her shine. Her stylist had suggested blonde because it suited her skin tone, not to outshine Megan. She could see why Megan was jealous, but why were her parents so upset? It was like they wanted her back in her old, insecure self, despite pushing her to change for the wedding. Lauren finally snapped. "What's your problem? Why can't I be blonde too? Does Megan own the color or something?" She paused, frustrated. "No, she doesn't. I can be blonde or brunette, it's my choice. Why does it even matter to you?" She couldn't understand why they were so fixated on making her revert to her old self. Her mom scoffed, saying Lauren was trying to upstage Megan's wedding by standing out. Megan chimed in, "With your weight loss, you're already going to stand out, so do you really need to take my hair color too?" Her dad agreed, saying Lauren was being difficult for no reason and should be more considerate as Megan's sister. Lauren couldn't believe it. It wasn't about stealing anything, it was about doing what made her happy. But instead of supporting her, they were worried about Megan's comfort. "You know what? I'm done with this," Lauren said, her words burning as they left her lips. "You're all so caught up in your negativity that you can't even accept that I've changed. The truth is, I've always been amazing, but none of you saw it. Now, even after losing weight, it's still not enough." She paused, letting her words sink in. They just stared at her. "Since you all have so much to say about me, it's time I gave you some unsolicited advice, just like you love giving me." She turned to her mom. "Mom, I hate how loose the skin is around your eyes and lips. They droop when you laugh, and your crooked teeth are just disgusting to me." She gave her mom a moment to react, then turned to her dad. "Dad, you're bald. You have no right to talk about anyone's hair or color when you can't even keep a full head of hair." His face stiffened, but she wasn't done. Finally, she turned to Megan. "And you, don't ever talk down to me again. Between us, I've always been the better-looking one, but now, with all the weight I've lost, you look even fatter than me. Just look at those chubby arms." Megan's face flushed with shame, on the verge of tears. Lauren raised her glass, downed her drink, and walked out with a smirk, leaving them stunned. She'd said everything she needed to. She couldn't believe those words came out of her mouth, but she had no regrets. They deserved to feel the humiliation she'd endured for years. After lunch, Lauren flew back home. She decided not to attend Megan's wedding. Since then, her phone has been flooded with voicemails and texts from her parents and Megan. They've called her disrespectful and foul-mouthed for how she spoke and for leaving. Her mom even insisted she fly back for the wedding, saying it'd look bad to Megan's in-laws if she didn't. But Lauren was done. Instead of going to the wedding, she treated herself to a weekend at a 5-star resort. It was one of the best decisions she'd ever made. She spent the time doing what made her happy, no drama, no pressure, just pure joy. She enjoyed a spa day, binged her favorite shows, and explored new places in her city. She also blocked her family's numbers to avoid their toxicity. Right now, Lauren's focus is on self-care, and she's never been happier. Thanks for watching this epic revenge story. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories. Drop a comment below, what would you have done in Lauren's shoes? See you in the next one.